So my name is Dave Steinberg, and I am the founder of Summit Funding. We are a 35-year-old mortgage brokerage company. So I've been doing this for more than half my life at this point. And what we do is we make it easy for your clients to get mortgages. That's what we're all about. And the other thing that we try very hard to do is we treat people like people. You know, often when you have people working with banks, they don't really get treated like people. They get treated like accounts, like often like problems, right? Think of the last time you had an interaction with a bank. And I have two of the nicest people in the universe working for me. And so when you call us, when your client calls us, what you're going to find is that they are being treated like human beings. We'll know their names. We call them by name. We, obviously we don't necessarily remember every detail, but we treat them as if they were friends. And so that's our brand promise. That's what we're all about. Let's start. And for people who come in late, they'll just have to catch up with us, won't they? So we're going to start with a very simple premise, and the thought is AI is incredibly powerful. So my first question to you, and for this first couple of minutes, if you can, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your voices, or I'd love to see you on the chat. But my first question for you is, are you using AI today? See, a lot of people are saying no, but
Catherine raised her hand, and if she can unmute, Catherine, if you can unmute.
Sure.
Yeah. So what are you doing with AI right now?
You know what? I've used AI pretty successfully to create a couple of programs for like social media posts. So taking a subject matter and then saying, can you do a month worth of social media post suggestions? I don't use all of them. I've also used it to write a course for something that I'd like to teach in our association. Again, you have to kind of go through it to make sure there's nothing that isn't obviously somebody else's writing, but it gave me an outline, which is pretty basic and helpful. And then you can fill it in. I find it's incredibly helpful. Like I use ChatGPT. I find it's really helpful to get things sort of on paper, and then I can enhance it.
We got a ringer here. Okay. So let me take a step back. And I bet that almost everyone on this call has used AI. Let me prove it to you. Do you go on Google and do a search? Ultimately, Google is built around AI. Now, you're going to tell me, well, but the latest stuff is different. It is. If you use Siri, if you take your phone and you say, Siri, call Ginger, that's AI, isn't it? You're using the AI built into, the Apple phone, into the Apple software to translate what you want into something else. And ultimately, I mean, I know this sounds trivial, but everyone on this call uses AI, I guarantee it. It's almost impossible to avoid it. Almost everyone on this call uses it. But I'm glad that Catherine took the lead there and shared with us what she's doing in her business, because that's really what we're here to talk about, right? We're here to talk about how we can use AI in our business. And that's, frankly, a very powerful thing. I will say that at the end of this, I've got some things to share. Stay tuned. There's going to be some offers. There's going to be some stuff going on. So stay tuned to the end if you humanly can. So Catherine's using AI to the power of ChatGPT, and that's what we're going to focus on mostly. So hopefully we'll have some tips for you to improve the way you use it, Kat. But that's what we're going to focus on. But I'm going to try to do an overview as well. And I've got some spooky things to share as well, because I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who's doing some really outrageous things right now with AI, and we're going to see that in faster than we really possible. If you can mute yourself if you're not directly taking place. So I'm going to, at this point, just to set the stage, and I'm going to ask Chelsea to unmute herself. Chelsea is a friend of mine from Spokane, Washington, and she's part of a group that I'm part of called REV. REV represents some of the most brilliant realtors in the country, and Chelsea will be too modest herself to take that mantle. But I've asked Chelsea to share with you guys what she does with respect to property listing. So if you would just share your screen if you can, Chelsea. Ginger, if you can let her do that. And Chelsea, just show how you take a property listing and run it through ChatGPT to make it better.
All right. So much like I'm sure Catherine was doing, there's a few ways easy. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody good? Okay. So essentially, this is just an example of one I had the other day. This was a listing that I was on the buyer side. We purchased it, and then they're having to make a move really quick. So not a lot has changed from this home. So I just scrolled down to the listing that was there. And if there are multiple listings, you can grab a bunch of them. So you can just copy it. And then for those of you who haven't used this program yet, it's really, really simple. It's basically like you're having a chat with somebody and asking them to do favors for you. And it's lovely. So basically, you're just copying this. You come to a new chat. And this is a separate little plugin, so it may look a little different, but basically you can just paste something in there and hit enter, and it'll clean it up without you even saying, hey, can you clean this up? So if you just paste that in and hit return, it'll just start spitting out a new version and making it, because I haven't said this is a listing, it's making it proper English, right? So paragraphs, full sentences, so without the direction of, hey, I'd like you to make this a real estate listing or give it any sort of input. It's just like, oh, she obviously wants me to clean this up, right? So that's just the basic, what happens if you don't give it direction. If you do come in here and say, let's see where we are. So if you paste in the old one, it just gives you a reprint. But if you put in directions, like I would like you to, so I paste it in, come up here. And if you do a shift return, you're not hitting enter, which will scroll it to, compute what you've just asked it to do. So I'll say, can you give me 3 options to rewrite this, rewrite this real estate listing, add in, they installed a new water heater and new lighting fixtures, highlight the horse property and lake access for boating, right? And then you just come down here and you say go. And it gives you 3 options. So here is, and what I found is I'm never really happy with exactly what it gives me. So if you say, give me 3 options, you can sort of cut and paste and put it in there. And then you can synthesize what you like, and you can put it back in there and say, clean this up, remove this. And so you're basically using it as an assistant, a writing assistant, to do your listings for you. So that's, I found really great use in that. I'm not a fan of writing. I'm a picture person, I'm a video person, I'm a Photoshop person. And so I can edit. So this is really a great tool for someone who has a brain like me, where I know what I want. I just don't want to sit there and write it all out. So it's been really, really useful for that, for sure. And also just for, other things like, a first-time home buyer flyer, and you just put in a basic prompt or something. So there's a lot of really great ways to make it work fast, to, skip you ahead a few hours of something that you were dreading. And I always dreaded these listing rewrites. So that's how I used it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Think about this. Do you hate it when somebody else has an unfair advantage? But how do you feel when you have an unfair advantage? Is that better? Like if you walk into a house and the person about to sell is your aunt, you have a pretty good notion that you might get that listing, right? So real estate agents with technology will replace real estate agents without technology. That's just a fact. The world is changing very rapidly. If you don't have the technology, if you don't learn about the chat GPTs, if you don't learn about all of this technology, you're going to be left in the dust. And we're going to do as much as possible today. I guarantee you we're not going to hit every single feature or every single deal, but that's what this is all about. So think about AI as your personal assistant. If you need a graph, you need a graphic for something. So let me just share what I just did this morning, because I'm not great at graphics. I'm not as good at graphics as Chelsea is or as Ginger is, but I needed a graph. So I said, I went to Bing, and I said, generate a friendly image of a homeowner trapped in a home for a social media post. And this is what it gave me. Now, think about it. If you're writing an article and you want to graphically show what it's like, because do we know homeowners who are trapped in their home because they're afraid to sell? Do we know homeowners who are trapped in their home because they have a very low mortgage and they don't want to give it up? And that's sort of trapping them. They're all tight. When they're saying, I can't sell now because I'm going to have a much higher rate. Well, if you write an article about it, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But if you write an article about that and you have a graphic that illustrates your point, it's so much more powerful. And if the graphic, if you're talented, you may be able to create that graphic on your own. But if you lack talent like I do, then being able to use a tool from scratch, and we're going to try to build a social media post. We're going to try to do that today. But the point is, to the extent that you can take the tools and, you may not have a PhD in mathematics. I'm betting that there are a lot of people here who will say that they're mathematically challenged. But you can use AI tools to help you as you want to analyze the math. You may not be a PhD in marketing, but if you want to do marketing, you can use AI as an assistant, as your marketing assistant. You can use AI as a coach. Chelsea and I were talking about it last week. She uses AI as a coach. And so there are all sorts of different things that you can do to empower yourself and empower your business. So let's talk about your business for a minute. All of you are in your own business. Almost everyone on this call who is a realtor is in their own business. You may work for somebody else, you may have a different role, but if you're a realtor, if you're a real estate agent, you're in a business and your business is you Inc. Your business has 3 divisions. Does that make sense? The first division is your before division. It's your client acquisition division. So even though we're paid, you and I, to deliver the goods, but what makes that all possible is your ability to acquire clients, to attract clients to your business. There's a during division of your business. How do I best serve my clients? How do I deliver my brand promise while I am serving them? And then the third division of your business is your after division. You know, everyone knows this stat. NAR puts it out all the time. Like 90% of clients forget who you are within a year or two of you helping them, or they lose your contact information. So your after division is really important. How else can you keep your past clients active and aware of you? AI is a toolbox. There are lots and lots of different tools, and I'll bring some up in a minute, but there are lots of different tools that you have available to you. And one of the tricks is going to be, how can you select the right tool for your task? We're going to start with ChatGPT. It's almost the default right now. It may not be the default in 3 months. We're going to focus a lot on ChatGPT, and we're going to look at how to use it best. But just be aware that you can ask the same question to several different engines and get similar or different answers depending on their power, and that it's evolving really quick. So for example, right now, let's just talk about 2 to begin with. There's ChatGPT and ChatGPT-4. The standard ChatGPT, if you're not paying for it, you're accessing what's called ChatGPT 3.5, meaning that's the 3rd generation of ChatGPT. There's also, if you pay for it, there's a ChatGPT-4. There's Bard, which is the Google entry. Now, Google is playing catch up, and they're behind. But anyone want to bet that in a year, Google's not going to have a dominant place at the table? So you want to be aware of Google. There are also other tools, and I'm going to try to get back to that. And this may be a good moment to play with something. And I'm going to go into a tool called Designer. And Designer, and I know Kiana was intrigued by this, and I think that's the reason why she's on this call, because I promised her that I would write a book. Anyone want to write a book today? We're going to pick on Kat because she's the shy one. Kat, do me a favor, unmute yourself.
You got it. And you would believe that I haven't gotten to it, but I just bought Designer.
Okay, so let's have some fun. Who's the client you want to attract next? Keep yourself unmuted. Let's have a conversation.
Sure. I actually am have started to be focused on the divorcing client.
Okay, so we want to write a book. We want to write a book about, what do we want to do with the divorcing client?
But we want to explain to them what they need to do or what the possibilities are doing if they're a homeowner. Obviously, they have to be a homeowner. They don't have to be, but the idea is that they're a homeowner.
Tell me if I'm getting this right.
Sure. Sure. Divorced or divorcing. Absolutely.
Homeowners, I try to take what you said and put it in. And now we're going to do next. And we're going to come back to this. So I'm going to minimize this right now because it's going to take a couple of minutes. But designer is going to write us a book. And by the time we're finished this webinar in 35 or 40 minutes, we're going to have a book ready, and Kat and I will co-author it, and we'll have some fun together. She's going to be my new best friend. Okay.
Yeah, David, so we're good.
Yeah.
We're going to be best friends.
Okay. So there's Canva. We'll come back to that. Anyone play with Disc, D-I-S-C? You know, if anyone uses Disc actively in their business, do me a favor, unmute and just tell me a little bit about what you do. Anyone? Chelsea?
I mean, I have my broker had us all take the, test just to see where we're at when we join the company. I found out I'm all driver.
No, I would never have guessed that. So, Disc is a way of characterizing the people you meet, and it's got 4 axes. D is driver, I is influencer, S is stability, and C is control. And like, so if you get an accountant, they're going to be a high S, high C. They're very much systematized, and a lot of influencers are high I's, or some people are high, and the way you communicate to different people varies. So if I know that Chelsea's an influencer, I'm going to talk to her differently than I might talk to Robert, who might not be an influencer. I'm just making this up, Robert. I don't know you from Adam, but if Robert is like stability and control, I'm going to want to break down what I'm saying in greater detail. So if anyone's interested, have some fun with Crystal Knows, because it will give you your reading, and then it also enables you to go, let's say you have a meeting. If Kat and I had a meeting tomorrow, I could look her up on LinkedIn, and I could find out what her characteristics are. It's really spooky. It's absolutely spooky, but it's a thing. And finally, I'm jumping ahead, but I just wanted to share this for 1 minute. There's and Ginger, don't listen to this because I am not trying to put you out of business. This is Wisecut. So anyone use video in their business? So what I did was I took a video that I shot, and it was actually it was a video that I rejected, but I started doing a video, and I said, let me drop this into Wisecut. If you look at it, it's a system that will take your videos. Like if you could shoot your video with yourself on your iPhone, take the video, and then drop it into this. Now, usually when you're driving and you're talking on a video and you're thinking about what you want to say, there may be some ahs, there may be some. So this took 132 seconds of awkward silence out of my video. It created some jump cuts. It put subtitles in. It put music in, and it audio enhanced the video. So it is, I think it's Crystal. No, this is Wisecut, Wisecut. This is Wisecut .ai, I believe, but I'm not sure. Look it up. Now, Ginger, who's being so gracious to join us today, is my video coach. And so she helps me with this stuff, and she helps me do a better job. But if you're new to video, first of all, give me a call. I'll put my information up later. Delighted to help you, delighted to guide you through video. And, maybe we can do another call at some time in the future about video. But video is incredibly powerful. And just doing video and putting yourself out there can make you the mayor of your town, the virtual mayor of your town. So lots of tools, but let's get back to the elephant in the room, and that is ChatGPT. So I'm going to take this minute and just going to go back and check on Designer. So permit me for a minute, somewhere in here. Oops, that's the wrong app. Sorry about that, guys. There it is. Wrong tab. I'll come back to it. Sorry about that. Okay, so ChatGPT, as I said, that's the gorilla in the room. First of all, know that it is very smart. It's changing all the time, and it is getting exponentially smarter. That means that whatever exists today, a month from today, it'll be smarter. A year from today, it'll be much smarter. And a year after that, it will be smarter still. So I'm just going to share this slide for a minute and show you what I mean by that. This is ChatGPT, which is the version that was introduced around December, versus ChatGPT 4, which was introduced like 4 months later. If you look at the bar exam score, right, the first version scored in the 10th percentile. 4 months later, it's in the 90th percentile. Now, I don't know what the biology Olympiad is, but the first version scored in the 31st percentile. The second version scored in the 99th percentile. Can you imagine what that means? What it will be doing in 3 years? I don't think we even have a conception of how much smarter these things go. These things can get. But the point is that these things are very, very smart. And because they're very, very smart, they are going to put you in a different place. ChatGPT is prompt driven. And as you saw Chelsea before, she said, she took her listing and she said, do it. And she said, put it into the thing. The first time she did it, it just rewrote it as if it was a common language. But the second time through, she did it with the second time through, she did it as a for real estate listing, and it refined it. Well, that's what you're going to do. And let's go back to the book now, and let's see how we're doing on the book. So if you look up on the screen, we use something called Word Genie, and Kat, we need you. You ready? Unmute yourself because I need
I'm
you to
ready.
help me here. Home ownership for the soon to be divorced. Home ownership for the recently separated. Home ownership for single parents going through a divorce.
I don't think I see what you're seeing on the screen. I'm only seeing a
Oh, is it not
like a
shared?
PowerPoint. Looks like a PowerPoint.
Sorry about that. How about now?
Yes.
So quickly, just pick one of these things.
They're minute for me, so I'm just looking.
Sorry, I can.
That's okay.
How about this? Home ownership for those starting over after a divorce.
Perfect.
Perfect. Next. Audience of your book. You're not sending it to the attorneys, right? So you want,
No, they're not that interested, quite honestly.
yeah,
It's actually one of the issues that I'm having particularly. It's hard to find a particular printout of who you go to for that kind of thing.
Well-
But in theory, there are,
do you want to say women going through a
count-
divorce?
yes, and there are countywide places you can get some information, public information about who has gotten divorced.
How about women going through a divorce in New Jersey?
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't know if it's any different in New Jersey than anywhere else, but let's see how smart this is. And it's going to start generating our book. So I'm going to keep on going and we'll pay attention to this in a minute. But for example, I could tell ChatGPT, write this response as if I'm talking to a 5th grader. Write it like I'm talking to a 9th grader. Write it like I'm talking to somebody with a 180 IQ. And each version of those will come with a different set of responses. So now
David,
it's giving us a suggested title.
David, you can
Yeah.
also say, write it in the style of a popular book.
Yeah.
So as long as it was written more than 2 years ago and it was fairly popular, you can say, write this in the style of this book.
So here we're going to go, how about, let's see, from divorce to dreams, achieving homeownership in New Jersey. The journey home, guide to
Sure.
finding
Or
stability
practical
after
guide.
divorce.
Those are
Huh?
always good. I like a practical guide, but it really doesn't matter.
Okay, there's a practical guide. Is that, am I not seeing it?
Right, but that you got it. Starting over in style, a practical guide.
Oh, perfect. Next. And it's going to keep on chugging. We'll come back to it in a minute. So, so now in terms of property descriptions, we've seen it. Now, what we didn't demonstrate, but what we can, and we can talk about it a little bit later, we can take that property description that Chelsea generated, and we can say, okay, great, now I have the listing. Well, what are you going to do once you have the listing? Do you want to put it out on social media? So now you can take that listing and say, okay, take that copy that you've generated and now rewrite it for social media, right? We can say add emojis, add hashtags, write a script for a video or a TikTok, and give us YouTube descriptions with keywords, all generated by ChatGPT. So we'll take some of those and work through, but I just want to take this one more step. I think this is a pretty good description, and even if it's not, we can always come back to it. But we're going to let, we are going to let Designer start generating our book. And let's go into ChatGPT, if you will. So I want to do a new ChatGPT. I want to do something. So let's say, Robert, since I picked on you before, but I didn't make you say anything, do you mind unmuting yourself?
Hello?
Robert,
Hello?
who's your perfect client?
Who's my perfect client?
Yeah.
My perfect client is somebody that does anything I tell them to do.
Ah, is it a buyer or a seller?
Ideally it'd be a seller.
Okay. And so what do we want to do with that seller? Is it somebody who's relocating? Is it someone? Tell me about the perfect seller.
Oh, the perfect seller is, God, in this market, it's anybody that wants to list their home. I mean,
Okay. So let's say I'm going to ask I'm going to generate 5 social media posts to attract anyone who is, I'm a terrible typist. What town, Robert?
I work, well, Wayne, Pompton Lakes, Pompton Plains.
Pompton Lakes? So we're gonna let it. And it's gonna generate a whole bunch of different social media posts. Now, Robert, you're quick, right? You faster than ChatGPT 4?
I don't think I'm that fast now.
You know, it really is pretty amazing. But like, now we're gonna say, so let's say the second one, is this something that you might have wondering what your Pompton Lakes NJ home is worth?
Yeah, that would be.
So we're gonna do select number 2. Oops. Oh, I had a typo. And guess what? It ignored my typo. Okay, now what's your favorite social media outlet?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Okay, so which one do you want to work on right now?
I guess Facebook.
Okay. Write it for Facebook. And notice it already, you know, in the month or so that I've been playing with this, now it's automatically generating hashtags.
Okay,
Robert, you seem like a serious guy.
cool.
Are you a serious guy? I don't know. Am I reading you right?
I guess I'm more serious than not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make it more serious. You don't have to look at it that carefully. The point is not the actual wording, but the fact that in a couple of minutes, now, you know what I don't see here? You know what I don't see here? Add a CTA, add a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
And so in about 3 minutes, what we've done is we've taken this from beginning through to a pretty decent social media post. Now, you know, there's a formula for this. So let's do somebody else. Juan Marshall. Thanks, Robert. Do me a favor, mute yourself and let's get Juan on the call.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? What do you do, Juan?
I do real estate and well, I'm good doing right now real estate full time. Before I was having a full-time job and doing this part-time.
Okay, so who's your perfect client?
My perfect client is the client that is open to listen and be educated and learn about the market. Because
Okay.
a lot of clients, they are going to Zillow or whatever it is, and they think that Zillow is like the Pandora box that want to answer all the questions. And yeah, so we have to try to help the client to understand the market situation and be open to deal with the market and with the clients, right? With the customers that are gonna come, the buyers and all that. I would love to have more listing size of clients. Right now I have a lot of buyers, and the problem is the seller market is really tough because we have the highest and best, and it's like going to an auction.
Okay, so do you work with buyers or do you work with sellers?
I work with buyers right now. I
Okay.
would love to work with more sellers than buyers.
Okay, but right now you're working with buyers.
Yes.
So let's talk about, so I am a realtor. I'm doing this in your persona,
Mhm.
okay? And what do we want to do with your buyers?
Well, I want to win the highest and best, but not waiving all the rights. That's the problem. They
Okay.
want to give you the
So-
Mhm.
What town won?
I'm in Union, but I do all Central and North New Jersey. So I do Bergen County, Union County, Hudson County, Essex County.
Pick a town.
Hoboken, New Jersey. That's Hudson County.
So now it's going to generate 5 social media posts tailored to attract potential home buyers in Hoboken, New Jersey. Right?
Mhm.
And you can do this, or we can, you can reach out to me and we'll do this one-on-one in the future. But now let's say, so let's take number 4
Mhm.
and take number 4 and tell me how to best reach these buyers. Now it's telling you how you can reach those buyers. You've got a marketing plan right here. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Now if it, you could just as well have done, we could just, let's see if we can do it this quickly. Change it to attract home sellers. And it's generating your marketing plan. Targeted advertising. Engagement. Tells you what to do. Create informative content. But you know what? Let's do that. Okay.
But
How?
this is some problems with target advertising in Facebook. They changed the law a few months ago, and right
Yeah.
now is your advertising in Facebook, social media is a little bit like charging. They don't let you launch the advertisement. They block it because it's not inclusive. It's like you are targeting the area, whatever it is, and you're not inclusive, including all the different kind of clients or perspectives.
But so it's saying create educational posts, success stories, share stories of recent successes, right? We could go through this one at a time. The point is that this is something that is,
Hey, Dave, this is Ginger. I'm gonna hop in for a second and speak to the point as far as Facebook. So specifically in your ads. So if you're going to post ads and you're going to boost those, then Facebook does have restrictions on what you can do in terms of targeting different consumers.
Yes.
But what Dave's talking about and what he's going through here, you can create educational content. You can do that on all of your platforms. So whether it's Facebook, we see great success, especially on TikTok, because TikTok tends to be more regional in terms of what they drive to your traffic. So if you're putting those tags in there and you're putting your hashtags in there, that's localized, we've seen great success around that. So even though you have the restrictions as far as doing those posts, if you're continually doing those, and this is what Dave's talking about, your educational posts, your success stories, your live Q&As, your virtuals, then people start following you and seeing that. So that's one of the most powerful things you can do. Honestly, any one of those you can do. And Dave, I'm going to hop in here for a minute real quick because June is homeownership month. By show of hands, how many of you knew that? Okay, Juan, good. We don't know. I do a lot of work on the mortgage industry and, we don't know it. You all don't know it. It's like, it's a great opportunity during June. And Dave, I know you do a lot of things about that to talk about homeownership, right? And so I think these are all great ideas, Dave, to do that and to talk about homeownership, right?
Yeah, I always talk like the buying a home is not just to buy a home to live. It's the best investment that you can do in your life and improving your financial life for your family. So I do all these educational things in Instagram. I post like videos, educational videos and all that and all the things. But the problem is when you want to boost it and pay like 20 or 5 by per day or whatever it is to boost the so it's a lot of, depending what you say, how you can say for you. If you say for you, then they don't approve it. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And we'll deal with the same side on the mortgage side, especially for consumers. But there's ways that you can get around that. And I mean, that's honestly a whole nother conversation where there's like
I know.
A podcast. Dave does a podcast. So there's maybe something like that you can do on education. But yeah, Facebook is definitely the most restrictive and we've seen them getting a lot tighter on it.
They changed a lot too for the ring, the answer, no, ringing answer or something like that. That you send the messages. Now
guys,
you can.
I'm going to take this back because I want to finish this week.
So
by the way, what I just did, because
perfect.
June is homeownership month. I just went into ChatGPT and I said, give me 30 social media posts about the benefits of home ownership. And imagine if you once a day just took one of these snippets and posted it on your Facebook. You did a Facebook story every day for the entire month of June. 9 o'clock every morning, you put a different post in there about the benefits of home ownership. Do you think anyone would notice?
Yes.
And again, it's done. It's 2 minutes of work. I want to keep on going. Again, you can put in your calls to action, you can put in the hashtags, you can put in all of this, and that's what the power of ChatGPT is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here. I just want to copy this. Generate the question I asked ChatGPT was generate 30 social media posts, and we could have said, I'm going to put this into Bard, and I'm going to say, generate 30 social media posts about the benefits of home ownership. Now let's see what Bard does. Now, again, Bard is probably 3 months behind ChatGPT. It only gave me 10 so far. But 10 is better than nothing. And if I were you, I would look at these 10, I'd look at these 30, and see if any of them is any good. Now, I just want to quickly show you that, let's see, I'll leave it alone. There are other tools. I'm not going to go into them because there are so many other tools that it's not, it's not done. And I just want to see that the book is cooking. Kat, we're gonna have to co-author this. I want royalties. I want royalties on the book. But
go over it, David.
While we're talking, I mean, we've spent about 3 minutes, and by the time this is done, it may not be done by 1 o'clock, but you have a book here. And then you can take that book, and Ginger is helping me. I mean, this is one of Ginger's books. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a children's book. And if anyone's interested, reach out to me. But I did a open house yesterday with a friend in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, and I took just a giveaway for the kids, and I got the kids were going crazy. Now I'm going back next time I do an open house. I'm going to bring the books, because this children's book I think would be outrageous. But if you're trying to attract people, one of the oldest tricks in the book, in the marketing book, is free reports. And you can take this and generate 7 free reports. If you don't want to do a book, you can generate 7 free reports and post it out there. And now, are divorced people going to start seeing it? Yeah, because this describes their journey. Now we can take, so let's go back to Juan's post for a minute, and let's take so I'm going to say take one and generate a TikTok script. Did that not work? Let's call it an Insta script. Oh, it's still cooking on this. Oh, here it is. So now we have a TikTok script and we have an Insta script. All in a matter of minutes. Now, Juan, you seem like a guy who's a little bit adventurous. I'm going to let it finish. So, Juan, if we were going to do this script, what would we want to do to it? You want to make it more fun? Are you a guy who can make it into a song?
Oh.
Juan, I dare you.
That's crazy.
I dare you.
There's more to a home than the roof on the walls. It's a place where your heart before ever falls. But beyond love and memories, there's more in all the halls. Home ownership's like a treasure chest that forever installs.
Ah, so
building
now,
up equity with every single payment, laying down roots, feeling the engagement, creating a foundation of your financial augmentation, home ownership of a journey towards life betterment.
okay, so I'm going to try to pull this a little bit. I told you about 3 divisions of your business. We started with that. There's your before, your during, and your after. We really focused most of this on the before and attracting people. But can you understand that I could take this and, Gloria, have you ever had to have a hard conversation with a seller who priced a home too high? Right? Is that something that's ever happened to you, Gloria? Okay, Kat's saying yes. Could I take ChatGPT and ask it to write me a letter to a client about why we have to reprice their home? Might it do a better job than I might? I'm not saying Kat because she's a whiz, but this stuff is so. If you don't have a newsletter, write me a newsletter, one newsletter a week, one newsletter a month, and just share the ideas. Keep it going. Generate, now you can go into, it could be your coach. What are the first 10 videos a realtor what are the first 10 videos that this is near and dear to Ginger's heart. What are the first 10 videos a realtor should record? And now you have, if you don't have any ideas about what to do with video, you now have 10 ideas about how to generate great videos. Neighborhood tours. Juan, could you take people through Hoboken? Do a series of 1-minute videos about different things you love about Hoboken?
Yeah, they are a few buyers. The problem is the highest and best. We can ask ChatGPT about how there was the better ways to negotiate the highest and best on one. That's what because that's happening all around the New Jersey, the highest and best.
One of the things that I saw somebody do last week that just blew my mind, he went into a fixer-upper and he took a picture of the kitchen, provided the dimensions, and he asked, I think it was ChatGPT, but I'm not 100% sure, how much it would cost to fix that, to replace that kitchen. And believe it or not, the system just generated an answer.
That's crazy. But that depends on the materials. If you're gonna do a luxury kitchen, or you're gonna do right. ChatGPT, maybe they do like 10 different approaches and different quotes.
Right. So you'd want to fine tune it. One of the things I didn't say before, I'll say it now. First of all, we know that the internet is always right, and the internet never lies. So just be aware when you're doing this that garbage in, garbage out. Sometimes you get bad information.
Yeah.
And also, by design, ChatGPT stopped loading data in 2022. So everything is at least a year old. Some of it will be updated, some of it will be updated over time, but be aware that there are things that are imprecise, be aware that there are things that are just not 100% accurate.
So that's like a Google Maps that they do every year, a picture of the area, but maybe you are looking at something that is not fresh.
Right. Just a couple of quick points about AI. I spoke to someone who used some HomeSnap, and they used some other programs to generate a predictive list of buyers. They said, who are the people in this zip code who are most likely to buy most likely to sell? I mean, I said buyers, I meant sellers. Who are the people in this zip code who are most likely, or in this whatever, I don't remember exactly what they said, in this development, who are most likely to sell in the next 12 months? And it generated a list of targets.
ChatGPT did that?
No, I think it was HomeSnap, or maybe in a different program.
Okay.
I'm not going to get to I'm not going to get to Canva now. I'm not going to get to Beautiful. Beautiful will take if you have let's say PowerPoint, you can run it through Beautiful and make it much more attractive. Coming down the pike. So I just wanted to share with you what a friend of mine is doing. He's in the insurance business. Now, this is going to blow your mind. He is developing a bot, a persona. He calls her Gandhi. And Gandhi will answer your questions and help you select the life insurance plan that will best meet your needs. And it's coming out in the next 2 months. And it will be fully compliant. And if you think you have compliance issues, think about the compliance issues that financial planners have. So if you want to think about what selling real estate might be like in a year, imagine if you had a bot on your website and someone could come to your bot and ask it questions using expert knowledge about how to buy a home in Pompton Lakes. It's coming down the pike. And as I said in the beginning, if you're either in front of it or you're dead meat, because someone's going to eat your lunch. This is still cooking. Kat, we're going to have to get back to this.
So the
That's
only
what she
issue with
said.
this technology will be that they are not updating on real time. So the market is changing a lot right now. So every 2 months or 3 months is like modifying the market and everything, especially with China, Russia, and all the problems that are right now internationally.
So, guys, it's 1:02. This is not my day job. My day job is selling mortgages.
Yes.
It's helping your clients get great mortgages. As I started saying today, we have what we do. We make it very easy for people to get mortgages. I've been working from the same spot for 35 years. And for 35 years, we've always taken mortgages by phone, now by Zoom or whatever. We have the online stuff. We have all that capability. But what I really like is I like talking to people face to face or by Zoom, talking to a human being. I don't like running them through. I like when I buy something, I want to interact with a human being. That's what we're all about. We make it easy. We make it personal. We treat everyone as if they're our best friend. I got a problem, and maybe some of you guys could help me. In New Jersey, I can give 6 people a 40 BIP basis, a 40 BIP improvement on rates for one loan. Now, imagine, if you will, that today you could get a 6% mortgage at 1.4 points. That's pretty accurate for, a certain set of facts. We just priced one today. Let's say you have a client buying a $800,000 house, borrowing $600,000. 40 bips is a $1,600 birthday present. We have 6 of those to give away, and we must give them away by January 30th. They disappear on January 30th. June 30th. Not January, June 30th. So if any of you have buyers and you want to give them a $1,600 present, I've got 6 to give away by the end of the year, by the end of the month, the end of June, and I'd love to do that with you. I would be honored if you have clients, if you have buyers that need to be pre-approved, and if you referred them to me, I would be honored, and I guarantee you that we will take care of them like nobody's business. A lot of people are used to dealing with banks. One of the things that people don't know, let's say when you send a buyer to Chase, just as an example, it's going to cost them $9,000 some odd dollars more than if we take care of that same mortgage. It's even more for particular minorities. We will take care of them. We will make you look good. Number 2, if any of you are in large offices and would like me to make a presentation in your office, please give me a call. Be delighted to share this with people in your office. And again, hopefully you'll be the hero. And then number 3, Ginger and I have been having conversations about how we can introduce realtors to using video. And so if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to me. I would be delighted to have a conversation with you about that and look for ways that we can help you grow your business, because ultimately that's what I'd like to do, help you grow your business and dominate. Here's my information, Dave Steinberg. My email is dave@summitfunding.com. My phone number, 201-907-0060. I would be absolutely honored to continue this conversation. I have the next half hour booked for this, so if anyone wants to stay on and ask me questions, but I've been honored. I'm delighted that you guys have been here with us. Kat, I owe you a book, and anyone else, just unmute yourself and fire away.
David, could you actually just repeat your email?
I'm Dave, D-A-V-E, at Summit, S-U-M-M-I-T, funding, Funding.com.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, well, thank you so much. Honored to have you guys on board with us. Hopefully you've learned something. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions after the fact. Kiana, thank you so much for helping me get this organized, and Robert and Juan and Kat, thank you so much for making this so much fun and being so gracious when I picked on you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Anytime, Dave. Thank you so much. It was really, really good.